They said the prophecy could have meant either of these. That insufferable old bat, Trelawney, in a rare moment of clarity, had finally spewed something of worth. A child born in the 7th month dies. One with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord. They were unsure. Potter or the Dark Lord chose Potter. Foolish as he was, he sealed his own fate the moment he marked the boy. But what if he had chosen differently? What if that fateful night he stepped into the house of the Longbottoms instead? What if it was Neville who became the chosen one? I have imagined it more times than I'd care to admit. Not because I wished it, though some part of me might have, but because the weight of it crushes history under a different boot. A boot not polished by fame, but trampled by silence. Frank and Alice Longbottom were no fools, or as fighters, strong, unbending, even when tortured to the edge of madness. And they would have fought, unlike Lily and James, who had trusted Pettigrew, who died for their belief in love and friendship. Frank and Alice had war in their bones. The Dark Lord would have found them at home. Perhaps young Neville in his crib. Perhaps Alice would have dueled, and Frank would have gone for his wand first. But in the end, the Dark Lord always got what he came for. He would have raised the wand, and the killing curse would have flown. But it wouldn't have worked, not as he intended. The protection, the ancient magic, would have twisted it. Neville would have lived, marked, chosen, and Voldemort would have vanished. They might have still lost their minds, or perhaps not. Perhaps, had he gone after the Longbottoms, they would have died protecting their son, not been tortured into insanity. Afterward, Bellatrix never would have had her fun. But this story, as all stories are, is not about with a hand. It is about what could have been. Neville Longbottom was no Harry Potter. He was not brash. He was not proud. He did not saunter into my classroom with fame dripping off his robes. He was awkward, forgetful, pathetic in the beginning. I admit that Yancarigides' fear mocked him, ridiculed him, but not because he was weak, because I saw what the world demanded he become, and he was not ready, but he would have been. Imagine Hogwarts, Year 1. The whispers are not about the boy who lived, Harry Potter, but about the quiet boy with the round face, the one whose parents were murdered by the Dark Lord. Imagine Minerva fussing over him, Dumbledore waswatting from his tower with that infernal twinkle, Hagrid bumbling into his life with a birthday cake. Would he still have found his friends? Perhaps not Weasley and Granger. Perhaps someone gentler. Perhaps Luna, or no one at all. Perhaps he would have grown in isolation, a chosen one with no friends, only expectations. But fate, cruel and consistent, would still have played its hand. Quirrell still would have tried to steal the stone. The Chamber of Secrets would have opened. Sirius Black would have escaped Azkaban. The goblet would still have spat out a name. Would Voldemort still have chosen the Triwizard Tournament as his return? Or would he have acted earlier, more desperate with his enemy being Neville? That's where it all changes. Neville would not have challenged me in class. He would have cowered. But in time, he would have found something more potent than courage conviction. There is strength in those who are underestimated, in the boy whose wand trembled in his grip, in the child who kept going despite being told he would never be enough. I saw it, you know. I saw it in 5th year, when he defied the Carrows, when he took up the sword, when he led children through tunnels and shadows, when Hogwarts became a war camp, and he, Neville Longbottom, became a general. If he had been the chosen one from the start, he would have grown differently, hardened by grief, molded by pressure. But it is the same metal forged under fire. Would he have survived the Department of Mysteries? Would he have been fast enough to dodge the killing curse? Would he have thrown himself between Bellatrix and Sirius? I do not know. But I do know that when the time came, when all seemed lost, Neville Longbottom stood tall, and Severus Snape once called him hopeless. He killed Nagini. You remember that, don't you? Potter was playing his part, as always, running through the castle, the cloak, and the prophecy. But it was Longbottom who drew the blade, who struck the final blow against the Dark Lord's soul, who took the venom and spat it back. Even if he was not the chosen one, he became something greater, hero without prophecy, a soldier without a spotlight. He bled in silence. He rose without fame, and he fought for the right reasons. But had Voldemort chosen him, would he have fared as well? The scar would have marred his forehead. The whispers would have followed him. He would have grown beneath the shadow of expectation, as Potter did. Perhaps he would have broken, or perhaps he would have become dangerous, quiet, not out of shyness, but calculation. Imagine him trained by the Order from the age of 11. Imagine Moody teaching him the unforgivable curses. Imagine McGonagall pushing him past the edge. Imagine me, required to protect him. Would I have still loathed him? That's the question, isn't it? I, who protected Lily's son out of guilt and love. Would I have extended the same loyalty to the son of Aurors I barely knew? I doubt it. I doubt Dumbledore would have entrusted me so, which means the role I played, the spy, the protector, the traitor, would have fallen to someone else. Perhaps Lupin, or Shacklebolt, or no one. Which means Neville might have died in the end. He would have faced the Dark Lord, wand trembling, knees locked, the world ish-holding its breath. No elder wand, no connection of shared magic, just Neville and the prophecy. The last piece, would he have won? I believe. Yes, unlike Potter, who survived because he had to. Neville would have fought because he chose to, and that, in the end, is what makes a true hero. Now go, let me be. Your curiosity is sated, your what-if entertained. But remember this, sometimes the world doesn't give you greatness. Sometimes greatness is grown in silence, and when it blooms, it roars like wildfire. Neville Longbottom was not the chosen one, but he could have been, and the Dark Lord would still have fallen. L.